Hey, anybody out there remember these guys? The Shogun Warriors. Yeah, Shogun Warriors are giant robots. They defend the Earth from horrifying monsters created from magic and technology and a little bit of robotics thrown in there. I happen to have a few issues here. Now, I was going through my comics and looking at ones that I wanted to sell, and I'm on the fence about these ones. I really like this, but I know that other people out there really like it too, so hey. Anyway, let's make a little video telling you all about it. So, as I said, they're giant robots. Here's a better picture. There's three of them. This one is Raiden, the sort of de facto leader of the Shogun Warriors. This one is Danguard Ace, and this one is Combatra. Now they all have sort of different powers and weaponry. Yeah, there's a lot of ads in here. Yeah, there's more issues. Here's you know, some giant robot kaiju action on the cover. This one I think is my favorite issue. Just because it's got the weirdest monster. It is, okay, well here's one of its heads. It's a multi-headed reptilian creature in the shape of a giant hand. Yeah, it's hard to say exactly what this thing is, but it's, I thought I would just show you. It's got 5 heads, it's in the shape of a hand, and each of the fingers is tipped with a dragon head that battles Combatra, one of the Shogun Warriors. Now, here it is in action. It can grip. It can launch itself as a fist. It can fly, obviously. I think it shoots lasers and stuff, too. Or missiles or something. I don't know. There's a lot of missiles and lasers and giant weapons and things like that. Here it is, you know, pounds the ground as a fist and breaks Combatra into her parts. Well, actually, just in the nick of time, it separates Combatra, the robot, separates into its different parts, which are all each like vehicles. See, the head is its own little spaceship there. You've got like some Land Rovers for the legs. It's kind of, so this is really a precursor to like the Constructicons or the you know, the combining Transformer robots. See, and this is crazy. And then the hand can actually launch the fingers individually. So yeah, here's a big splash page of you know, some weird sci-fi kaiju robot spaceship dragon head action. Seeing it's firing like lasers or something, or missiles, I don't know. This is interesting. Shogun Warriors, of course, the comic did not come first. The toys came first. They are imported from Japan. They come in a bunch of different varieties. You can get like die-cast. Remember when die-cast was a thing? I think like a 4-inch version and a 6-inch version, and then you could get the giant plastic 2-foot Shogun Warriors, which really didn't have a lot of articulation or anything, but they had super cool weapons and things. Yeah, so they were imported from Japan, and as I can tell you from this ad right here, so here's Shogun Warriors at the top, but that's Godzilla, and by extension, that's Rodan. Now there were actually Shogun Warrior, like the 24-inch size figures made of both of these monsters, but they never crossed over in the comic books or anything like that, or maybe they were meant to, but they never did. This one in particular, the Godzilla, I've wanted that toy since I was, I don't know, what, it's 1979, since I was 8 years old, I guess, and never got it. Online it sells for a pretty hefty price, or not one I'm willing to pay right now. But the Rodan is even more rare. But to get those two, or even one of the 24-inch Shogun Warriors would be like a dream come true right now for me. A dream come true. I'm such I have such aspirations. Oh, you don't even know. Yeah, one thing to note about these toys is that, as I said, some of them were die cast, some of them were, the giant plastic versions. But you can even tell by the ad here that they have like mechanisms in them that you could launch weapons. Basically, you could launch their fists off. Even the Godzilla one had the fist projectile. And yeah, they came with a lot of missiles and things like that. I do remember distinctly. My friend had an action figure with an axe just like that, and it had a spring-loaded launching mechanism, so you could launch a spinning axe across the room. And yeah, this is 1979. I guess it was deemed to be quite dangerous. Some kids maybe suffered some injuries. Potential eye injuries, or certainly some of the parts were very small and could be choking hazards. So I don't know, I guess they just stopped producing them, stopped producing the toys, and therefore they because they couldn't really sell them because of new regulations and restrictions and that sort of thing. So the toy line kind of died off, and unfortunately so did the comic. Yeah, so Shogun Warriors, formerly a toy property, then became a comic book property. This evokes Gulliver's Travels. He's on the moon, and moon men strap down the robot and capture him. And then this one is curious. It says, Megatron will stomp you all. Now, as I mentioned, this predates the Transformers. Maybe not all of the Transformers toys, but I think the name Megatron is for a completely different robot. It has nothing to do with the Transformers. But I think the name might have been maybe not copied, but reused for the Transformers. When they hit America, Transformers probably were around in Japan about the time of the publication of this comic, but their names weren't translated. They hadn't brought the property over for market in the U.S. So I think maybe the whoever distributed the toys and or the comics and all that stuff and the licensing probably had this name in mind, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a cool name. Too bad we used it in this dumb, golden, crappy looking robot that the he's bigger than the Shogun Warriors, but they managed to take him out. Yep. Here he goes. Whoa, Megatron cannot swim. So, yeah. So they kill him off, and they're like, oh, that's too bad. He had such a cool name. Then finally I've got issue number 19, which is the second last issue ever published of the Shogun Warriors. This one has the Fantastic Four. Because of course that's the beauty of Marvel Comics, especially around this time, or late 70s, early 80s, is when everything crossed over. And so basically these giant robots exist in the same world as all the superheroes. Once in a while there comes a villain with a head like a sideways avocado, with a plan so evil that even the Shogun Warriors alone cannot deal with. Yeah, that's one frightening looking villain you got there. So the Shogun Warriors seek out the Fantastic Four for their aid in taking out the newest alien threat, which I haven't figured out what it is yet. Let's find out. So here we go. It's like this giant spaceship, like bigger than the city of New York, but it transforms into a giant robot. There's another good shot of it somewhere here. Here we go. Like, look at the size of that thing. That's insane. Shogun Warriors, as mighty as they are definitely going to need the help of the Fantastic Four on this one. There's so much action going on here that you only get look at the size of the panels here. There's a lot of text, a lot of reading in comics back in the day. don't you think? And I'm not going to read it again, but this one I'm sure ends on a cliffhanger or some such, because, like I said, the next issue is the final showdown in the final issue of Shogun Warriors. Sad. This copy of this particular issue, somebody cut something out of it or tore it up. That kind of sucks. So it's not worth a whole lot of money, but these were great comics, man. You know, if you didn't have Shogun Warriors, you wouldn't have things like Transformers. You wouldn't have things like, well, you certainly wouldn't have anything like Pacific Rim, because I think Shogun Warriors probably influenced a lot of the action in Pacific Rim. Giant robot kaiju battles. Yeah, Shogun Warriors, can't go wrong with that.